lies. Tonight I'm going to read you some facts about Disney. I don't know if you can hear the wind howling outside. It's super windy here tonight. But if you can, I hope it doesn't bother you. So these first lot of facts are about Disney theme parks. John Lennon signed the paperwork that finally disbanded the Beatles in 1974 at Walt Disney World's Polynesian Resort. When Disneyland was first built, it was to have included the Land of Oz, but it was never constructed. The Toy Story characters used to drop to the ground when a guest yelled, "Andy's coming," but the practice was stopped when the joke became famous on the internet. Now the handler simply says, "Andy left for college." When it rains, guests standing under Spaceship Earth will not get wet thanks to its unique drainage system. The pavement beneath the different worlds in the Disney parks changes suddenly. These sensory tickles startle you and make you look up and look around, realizing that your surroundings have changed. Park employees are required to point with either the whole hand or with the two fingers. This is because some cultures see pointing with one finger disrespectful. Costumed characters are discouraged from giving adults a high five. The Magic Kingdom in Florida is actually built on the second level of the park. The first level is a network of utilidors built to allow costumed characters to cross the park unseen by the public. It is also used to transport trash and can be used by ambulances in emergencies. Up to 200 feral cats live in Disneyland. They are tolerated because they eradicate mice and rats on the property. Everyone knows that there are hidden Mickeys all over the Disney park, but there are also hidden tribute Mickeys at Universal Parks in the Harry Potter and Jurassic Park rides. There are two abandoned parks at Walt Disney World: River Country, an all-water park, and Discovery Island, an all-nature attraction. There is room for 8 more countries in Epcot's World Showcase. As of 2014, Disneyland has only had 3 unscheduled closings: the National Day of Mourning following President Kennedy's death, after the 1994 Northridge earthquake, and September 11, 2001. The skull on the headboard in Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean is a real skull. Disneyland Jail is actually a thing, but it's more of a holding area for disruptive guests and thieves. There is a hotel room inside Cinderella's castle reserved only for contestant winners. There is one in Disneyland above Pirates of the Caribbean. There used to be paintbrushes hidden on Tom Sawyer's Island. If you found one, you could present it to the barge driver, and you and your party would get golden fast passes. 14 of the original rides in Disneyland's 1955 opening are still in operation. The statue of Cinderella looks sad to adults, but from the point of view of a child, she is happily smiling and wearing a crown. Richard Nixon's famous "I am not a crook" speech was given at Disneyland. The Tinkerbell that flies across the sky during the fireworks show is sometimes a man. If it were actual mountain. Space Mountain would be the third tallest mountain in Florida. There are vents on Main Street that pipe artificial vanilla scents into the air. During Christmas, though, they use peppermint. If you hear code V over a radio, it's for vomit. Steve Martin worked at Disneyland between the time he was 10 and 18. Amongst other things, he was a magician. When it was first built, Tomorrowland was supposed to represent the far-off future year of 1986. During the park's first year, real ammunition was used at the Penny Arcade's shooting gallery. Disneyland parks are constantly repainted and touched up nightly to make the park look pristine. They also employ undercover security to prevent vandalism and graffiti. The drawbridge of the Disneyland Castle works, but hasn't been used since 1983, and only once before that during the grand opening. Disney World is second only to the US military when it comes to purchasing explosives in the United States. Gum is not sold in any Disney park. At the New Orleans train station, you can hear Morse code playing. It's Walt Disney's inaugural speech. To all who come to Disneyland, welcome. Here age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Some of the characters in Spaceship Earth are actually repurposed robots from the Hall of Presidents. Teddy Roosevelt is Roman senator, John Adams is a monk, and William Taft is an Egyptian priest. There is a basketball court hidden within the Matterhorn. Count the Captain Jack Sparrows on the Pirates of the Caribbean. There are usually 3. If you see 4, you might have actually seen Johnny Depp, who sometimes hangs out on the ride in full costume for fun. There is an alternate entrance into Epcot called International Gateway that lets you into the World Showcase from the Dolphin Hotel and Yacht and Beach Club. When it first opened in 1955, Disneyland had a lingerie store on Main Street called the Wizard of Braz. The aquarium at Epcot's The Seas is so big, Spaceship Earth could fit inside it. Doritos were invented at Disneyland. So the next set of facts are just general Disney facts. The iconic song Part of Your World was almost cut from The Little Mermaid. Can You Feel the Love Tonight was also almost cut from The Lion King. Elton John, who saw the film with the song removed, told producers they needed to put it back in. Aladdin's face was modelled after Tom Cruise's, and Ariel was partially modelled after Alyssa Milano. The Jungle Book was the last animated film Walt Disney personally supervised. It was released 10 months after his death. John Lennon turned down Walt Disney Studios' request for the Beatles to provide the voices of the vultures in the Jungle Book. Walt Disney planned a short film sequel to Snow White titled Snow White Returns. The film was even storyboarded, but it never left the pre-production stage, and no reason is known why the studio decided against making it. Sleeping Beauty's Prince Philip was named after Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, who is the husband of Queen Elizabeth II. 1989, Ariel became Disney's first new princess in 30 years. The last princess film had been Sleeping Beauty, which was released in 1959. The Black Cauldron was Disney's first animated film to get a PG rating. Contrary to popular belief, Tinkerbell is not based on Marilyn Monroe, but on reference model Margaret Kerry. Beyoncé refused to audition for the role of Princess Tiana and expected to be offered the role. She lost the role to her Dreamgirls co-star Annika Noni Rose. Alicia Keys actually auditioned 3 times for the role of Princess Tiana. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was the first film to ever release a motion picture soundtrack. With a total of only 18 whole lines, Princess Aurora is the Disney princess with the least amount of dialogue. 1 minute of The Nightmare Before Christmas required an entire week of filming, and more than 400 distinctly different Jack Skellington heads were used. Pumbaa is the first Disney character to ever fart. Christian Bale voiced the character of Thomas in Pocahontas. Idina Menzel, the voice of Elsa in Frozen, originally auditioned for a role in Tangled but was passed over. But the recording she did for that audition, a rendition of the Beatles' Blackbird, led her to getting early consideration for Frozen. Frozen's co-director Jennifer Lee is the first female to direct a Disney animated movie. The penis on the cover of the original VHS release of The Little Mermaid was unintentional, according to the artist who drew it. He was just in a rush to finish and was neither disgruntled nor on the verge of being fired. The Sorcerer from Fantasia's The Sorcerer's Apprentice segment is named Yensid, which Disney spelled backwards. Producers originally wanted Sean Connery to voice Mufasa. James Earl Jones, who voiced Mufasa, and Madge Sinclair, who voiced Sarabi, were also the King and Queen in Coming to America. The original conceived version of Beauty and the Beast was a darker, non-musical adaptation. It also took place in 18th century France. Although Matthew Broderick is an accomplished Broadway singer, he does not sing Hakuna Matata or Can You Feel the Love Tonight. Actress Eleanor Audley voiced 2 notable Disney villains, Cinderella's Lady Tremaine and Sleeping Beauty's Maleficent. Also, both characters' facial expressions were based on hers. Frank Welker, the actor who voiced Abu, is also the voice of Transformers Megatron, Scooby-Doo's Fred Jones, and Stripe in Gremlins. And the voice of Eeyore is also the voice of Transformers Optimus Prime. The people who voiced Minnie and Mickey were married in real life. Bernard from The Rescuers suffers from a fear of the number 13. Can You Feel the Love Tonight was originally supposed to be sung by Timon and Pumbaa. Bea Arthur was considered for the voice role of Ursula in The Little Mermaid, but it went to Pat Carroll. Dwarf names that didn't make the cut in Snow White were Jumpy, Deefy, Dizzy, Wheezy, Higgy, Disney was presented with an honorary Oscar for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, presented in one normal-sized statuette and 7 miniature Oscars. Walt Disney played Peter Pan in a school play. Tramp from Lady and the Tramp was almost named Homer, Rags, or Bozo. Aladdin cut a song called Proud of Your Boy from the animated film, but it's now on the Broadway show. During the Snow White production, Walt Disney kept a menagerie of animals on the studio lot as live reference for the animators. Do You Want to Build a Snowman from Frozen is sung in part by a little girl named Katie Lopez, the daughter of the writers of the song. Jodie Benson, the voice of Ariel, makes a cameo appearance in Enchanted. She plays a secretary at a law firm. Judy Kuhn, the singing voice of Pocahontas, also makes a quick cameo in Enchanted. She plays a mom. Disney was sued by a biologist for the defamation of hyenas in The Lion King. In 101 Dalmatians, Pongo has 72 spots and Perdita has 68. Samuel E. Wright, the voice of the Little Mermaid Sebastian, also played Mufasa in the original cast of The Lion King on Broadway. Christina Aguilera's debut single was actually Reflection from Mulan. Genie in a Bottle was released a year later. Beauty and the Beast was the first ever animated film to be nominated for an Oscar for Best Film. Mortimer Mouse was the name originally meant for Mickey, but Walt's wife convinced him to change it because Mortimer sounds pompous. When Simba flops down onto the ground and clouds of dust appear, it seems to spell SEX in the sky. Disney claims it actually reads SFX and was put there by the effects team like a signature. The Rescuers Down Under was Disney's first animated sequel. Wreck-It Ralph has 180 unique characters. For comparison, Tangled had 64. The Great Mouse Detective is actually based on the children's book series Basil of Baker Street. Rapunzel's 70 feet of golden hair consisted of more than 100,000 individual strands. The Black Cauldron was Disney's first animated feature to use CGI. Animator Glenn Keane designed the character Tarzan based on his teenage son Max, who liked performing skateboarding stunts. Pride Rock and Gorge in The Lion King are modelled after Hell's Gate National Park in Kenya. Chicken Little has the lowest rating of any Disney animated feature on Rotten Tomatoes, and Pinocchio has the highest. The original title for Emperor's New Groove was Kingdom of the Sun. Belle, Aladdin's Magic Carpet, and Pumbaa all make a cameo in The Hunchback of Notre Dame during the song Out There. Tangle's Rapunzel and Flynn Rider make an appearance at Elsa's coronation in Frozen. Mickey Mouse, Goofy, Kermit the Frog, and Donald Duck all make cameos during the scene where Triton arrives at the concert hall in The Little Mermaid. Basically, all Disney characters make surprise appearances in one another's films. And that's it for tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it helped you get some sleep.